The 2026 FIFA World Cup was supposed to showcase the biggest celebration of football ever organized. Instead, just days into the tournament, questions about planning and accountability have begun to dominate the conversation. One of the most surprising incidents involved Uruguay, one of South America's most respected football nations. Marcelo Bielsa and his squad, including stars like Darwin Núñez, Federico Valverde, Rodrigo Bentancur, and José María Giménez, found themselves stranded in Cancún, Mexico, unable to travel to Miami ahead of their opening match against Saudi Arabia. The journey from Cancún to Miami should have taken only a couple of hours. However, Uruguay's charter flight remained grounded due to issues involving the aircraft's authorization and required documentation. The Uruguayan Football Association confirmed that circumstances beyond their control had delayed the team's departure. Players who should have been finalizing preparations were instead waiting in a hotel, uncertain about when they would be able to leave. The situation quickly attracted international attention. Journalists and major media outlets reported conflicting explanations. While Uruguayan officials pointed toward FIFA's responsibility for the disruption, FIFA described the matter as a technical issue involving the aircraft itself. The difference between these explanations created even more confusion. Fans and observers were left asking an uncomfortable question: who was truly responsible for a delay that affected a national team on the eve of its World Cup debut? The consequences of the travel disruption extended beyond a delayed flight. Uruguay's scheduled pre-match press conference could not take place because the team had not arrived in Miami on time. Under tournament regulations, teams are expected to fulfill official media obligations, raising concerns that Uruguay could potentially face disciplinary action despite claiming the circumstances were outside their control. This incident did not emerge in isolation. Throughout the early stages of the tournament, multiple reports highlighted visa complications and entry difficulties affecting participants from different countries. Officials, referees, and players reportedly encountered delays and administrative barriers while attempting to attend football's biggest event. Each case carried its own details, yet together they contributed to growing concerns about coordination across a tournament hosted by multiple nations with different immigration systems. The World Cup was promoted as an example of international cooperation and accessibility. Instead, repeated logistical problems have sparked debate about whether enough preparation took place behind the scenes. Supporters argue that large-scale events inevitably face unexpected challenges. Critics counter that organizations overseeing tournaments of this magnitude should anticipate such obstacles and establish solutions before they impact teams and officials. Marcelo Bielsa's involvement adds another layer to the discussion. Known as one of football's most influential and demanding coaches, Bielsa has previously spoken openly about organizational shortcomings during major competitions hosted in the United States. He has criticized extensive travel demands and questioned whether logistical planning sufficiently considered the realities faced by players and staff. For Uruguay, the disruption came at the worst possible moment. The team entered the tournament with significant expectations. Federico Valverde's leadership in midfield, Darwin Núñez's attacking threat, and the experience of players such as Rodrigo Bentancur and José María Giménez positioned Uruguay as a serious contender to progress deep into the competition. Despite the off-field distractions, football often produces moments of resilience. Teams frequently respond to adversity by becoming more united and focused. Bielsa's meticulous preparation and demanding standards may help Uruguay refocus once the whistle blows. Yet it remains impossible to ignore that valuable preparation time was lost because of circumstances unrelated to tactics or player performance. The story therefore becomes bigger than one delayed flight. It reflects broader questions about planning, communication, and accountability at the world's largest sporting event. As the tournament progresses, organizers will hope that memorable matches and extraordinary performances become the defining images of the 2026 World Cup. However, the discussions surrounding travel complications and conflicting explanations are unlikely to disappear quickly. Supporters expect transparency when problems occur, particularly when national teams and accredited officials are affected. Uruguay eventually arrived in Miami, and their match against Saudi Arabia proceeded as scheduled. Once the game began, attention naturally shifted back to the football itself. Yet many observers continued to ask whether stronger coordination could have prevented the disruption altogether. The differing accounts offered by officials only intensified demands for clarity. Major sporting events are judged not only by what happens on the pitch, but also by how effectively they are organized behind the scenes. Fans understand that unexpected difficulties can arise. What they often seek is honesty, responsibility, and visible efforts to resolve issues fairly. The Uruguay episode has therefore become part of a wider conversation about accountability at this World Cup. Whether remembered as an isolated mistake or evidence of deeper organizational shortcomings may depend on how future challenges are handled. For now, the debate continues alongside the football, reminding everyone that preparation off the field can be just as important as performance on it.